So welcome, Kim, and thank you for joining me here today. I know we had 9 other people that were registered to attend our workshop today. And so what we're going to do is just make sure we've got this recorded so that whoever has registered will then get a copy of our session. So firstly, I want to talk to you about what we'll be doing today. And because there's only the 2 of us here right now, this is actually going to work really well for you, Kim, because we'll be able to then do some specific things that can really start to pull that pain out of your body, and also give you some tools that you'll be able to use for your husband, which is what we talked about earlier on before we started recording. And firstly, I want to introduce myself. I'm Carol Macrae, and I've been doing hypnosis for about 19 years. I've been doing Reiki for 26 years. And my story really started around pain, because in the old days, I was actually running fitness centers for more than 20 years. And after about the 10-year mark, when I was managing the RSL Health and Fitness Center for 9.5 years, I'd really ruined my knees. I was teaching sort of 11 high impact classes a week. And it meant that over the years, my knees just deteriorated. And I had a thing called chondromalacia patella, iliotibial band syndrome, inflamed fat pads, and patella tendonitis. And so what that meant really was that for the last 3 years, I just wasn't able to really even do that work. And I had my knees strapped. I had the physiotherapist working on me. I had really limited things I could do, because it was just cracking under the patellas. And so what that meant was that I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't walk up and down the stairs, and it was just got harder and harder. So for the last 12 months, while I was running that center, I didn't teach any classes, and eventually I left the center because it was just too hard. There was no point in me doing it, because I wasn't able to be, there in the capacity I'd hoped for. And so when I took my kids to the bookshop, looks like Julie's just coming in again now. Let's just see if we can get her in here. And we will go to gallery view and see if she's there. Hopefully she will be here and we can unmute her. She's got her, ask her to unmute. So hopefully that will come up in a moment. So as I said, I've been teaching high impact aerobics at that stage for about 10 years, and I was doing 11 classes a week. And I think I can hear little crackles. Julie, can you hear me now? Yay!
Yep.
Excellent. Thank goodness. So for those that are watching this replay later on, Julie's been trying to get in here for about 15 minutes, and she's been in a couple of times, and she's had she couldn't hear us and we couldn't hear her. So we sort of stopped and restarted again, and it looks like that's done the trick for you, Julie.
Thank you for being patient.
Excellent.
It's good. Yeah,
perfect.
Let's pop it up there. Is that good?
Excellent. Yep. And now we can see you, and it looks like you've got a beautiful garden there as well.
Yeah, I do have a nice garden.
So I was just saying how I got onto the whole mind body stuff. I've been teaching. I've been running the RSL Health and Fitness Center for 9.5 years, and I've been teaching 11 high impact classes a week. I ended up with cracking under the patella, so chondromalacia patella, iliotibial band syndrome, inflamed fat pads, and patella tendonitis. And at the end of that time, I left the center. And I was at the bookshop with my 3 children, and a book on Reiki fell out of the bookshelf in up near Myers, that bookshop up at the end of the street. And when I picked it up, I read the back of this book, and it said basically it talked about Reiki and how laying on of hands can transfer energy and, speed up a healing process, basically. When I read that, it just triggered something in my mind, because 5 years before, I had been at a fitness convention on the Gold Coast at Jupiter's Casino, and I was chatting to this young fellow at the cafe, and he was telling me about this book that I should get called The Celestine Prophecy. And the next morning, someone else mentioned it, giving the keynote address speech to 5,000 people. And I went and bought the book at lunchtime. And then I ran upstairs and rang my husband. I said, guess what? This person said to get the book, and this other person said to get the book. And I've just bought it. And he said, what's it called? And I said, The Celestine Prophecy. And he said, that's weird. I've got 2 copies people have loaned me. So to me, I went, woo, that's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, so 5 years later, this Reiki book falls out of the shelf, and on the back of it, it tells me, it's something similar. And I go, oh my God, this is something like they talked about, because the surgeons had told me there was a 20% chance they could fix my knees if they operated. And they said, forget it, you'll never exercise again. You can't even go for walks. And so then I got to that stage where I thought, physician, heal thyself. Now, I used to be a nurse as well, a registered nurse. And then we were running the fitness centers for the 10 years. And I just had this feeling there's something else out there I can try. And when the book fell down, I thought, this is it. This is God answering my calling for some sort of assistance. And so I went and bought a Nature and Health magazine, and then I read the back of read in the back section, and there was an ad for Reiki in Byron Bay in 2 weeks' time. So I rang up and I made an appointment to go, and I said, can I bring my daughter too? And they said, sure, bring your daughter. Now, she didn't particularly want to go, but I dragged her along anyway. And we walked in, and I said, I'm Carol, and this is my daughter Sarah, and we're from Dubbo. And this girl says, that's interesting, because my name's Sue and I'm from Byron Bay, and my mother was born in Dubbo. And then the man says, my name's Mark and I'm from Sydney and my mother was born in Dubbo too. And the other lady had another connection. So it was, to me, it blew my mind. And I'd never had any concept of really spirituality or synchronicities or mind-body systems or any of that stuff. I just felt that I'd been led to go there. So we did the level 1 on the Monday and Tuesday. Then the teacher, Zeta Michaels, said, Carol, I want to speak to you. You need to do level 2. It's in your path. I know you're meant to do it. Walk on the beach on Wednesday, come back on Thursday and Friday and do level 2. I've got another lady coming. And I said, okay, then that's what I'm meant to do. So I walked on the beach and I came back and I did the level 2. And on the way home, I had this interesting experience with heat going up my spine. And in the past, I had also had a scoliosis in my back and pinched nerves where I had a lot of pain. And this heat just stopped there, but I had that heat for about 5 hours. And later I found out it was a Kundalini experience that the yogis talk about. So when I got home, I put my hands on my knees for 20 minutes, and then I went to bed. And the next morning when I got up, the swelling and pain was gone after 3 years. And it just blew my mind. I remember going, oh my God, this is not my imagination. This is real. Now, that was 26 years ago. And it just changed my future. It changed my whole life. It set me on a whole new direction. And then I could jog, as I said, and now I'm 68 in July and I can jog now. And I do still go out jogging sometimes, but I just have not had the problems ever since. And so my husband then said, well, let's go back into the fitness industry. And I said, sure, no worries, but I'm not going to do what I've done in the past, because in the past I was doing all the high impact stuff and I had a black belt in Taekwondo. And I said, I'm going to learn Tai Chi and I'm going to learn yoga, because they're low impact for starters, so it's not going to cause the same problem. But it also means that I'm going to be able to work with more energy, because Tai Chi works with energy. And so when we opened up Chizen Health Club, which we had on the corner of the main street here for 10 years, and at the end of that time, I had breast cancer. And when I got the breast cancer, I said to my husband, it's a shame I had to let myself get breast cancer so I could get some time off work without feeling guilty. And I sort of had a chuckle to myself, and I said, actually, that's true, because I've been helping you live your path, but that's not my path. I'm a healer. I'm a nurse. I was a nurse. And then I've done, all this Reiki for the last 10 years, and I'd only just finished my hypnotherapy training as well. And I said to him, I've got to get back onto what sustains me. I've got to get back onto my path. And he said, yes, I understand that, but you said when we got married, you'd stick by me. And I said, well, you've had 20 years. It's my time now. And he said, all right, I get it. And he said, well, we've got 2 years till the lease runs out. After that 2 years, we'll sell the business, and then you can just get on to full-time doing your healing work. And I said, okay, I can do 2 years. I can't do any more. But like a silly person and like a woman, which most of us are trained to be people pleasers, because that's what it is when you're growing up. You're helping mum peel the vegetables, and you're mopping the floors, and you're looking after your siblings. And so we sold the business, but I kept filling in and doing more classes. And I was teaching yoga and Tai Chi and Pilates at that stage, and still helping out in the gym and all the rest of it. And so 7 months into it, I ended up with bone cancer. And it was stabbing pain that would get me probably 10 times a day, and pins and needles that would just come out from that hot spot. Somebody else is just coming in. Alicia's just arrived. Welcome, Alicia. I'm not sure if you can hear me yet, but I'm not sure if you're going to pop your video on. But it would be helpful if you wanted to later on. I think she's just still connecting. And so, Alicia, I am just talking about my little journey and what brought me to hypnosis and Reiki. And I just was saying how when I ended up with bone cancer, basically what happened was I said to the staff, the reason we sold this fitness center is because I don't want to do this anymore. It's not where I'm meant to be. And our beautiful Karen, I'm just going to let Alicia unmute if she wants to. Our beautiful Karen, who worked for us for many, many years, she was still working for the new owners, and she said, that's okay. Can you give me notice? And I said, well, I'll finish at the very end of this month. But the very next day, I ended up with the flu, and I was pretty much bedridden for about 3 weeks. Now, I've never had a flu like that before or after. But the way I look at things now is so totally different, because what I realize is that everything happens for a reason, as they say. But I knew that that was my subconscious making me sick to get me out of working for the next month. And I just see everything is an opportunity for us to learn more about ourselves and heal ourselves and heal our lives. And so I had already booked in to go and do a Vipassana retreat in the Blue Mountains. And a Vipassana retreat is 10 days of meditation, and you're meditating for 10 hours 10 hours a day. So you start at 4:30 in the morning, you finish at 9:30 at night time. And so when I went away, I had this mystical experience where I went into the light. And in that moment, I just knew I was going to get rid of this bone cancer myself. And when I went back to oncology 3 weeks later, and I'd already had probably 3 bone scans, and it was about this long on my rib, a black spot. And he said, look, I'm so sorry. After the last test, we've still got the same conclusion. It's bone cancer. We can't heal bone cancer. We'll try to slow it down. We'll give you some chemo, and we'll just see how we go. And I said, oh, look, thanks. I think I'm already on top of it, because I've been doing Reiki, self-hypnosis, meditation, and visualizing that black spot getting smaller. And I've already halved the pain. And he said, are you serious? Are you prepared to live with the consequences if you come back in 6 months and it's right to use skeleton? And I said, look, I know you're used to dealing with sick people, but I'm not one of them. And I know when I get that knowing, it is always right, and I'm just going to trust it. And he said, right, we'll wait and see. Come back in 6 months. So 6 months later, when I went back, he said, how's the pain? And I said, a little bit of discomfort if I do push-ups. And he said, continue doing what you're doing. Come back in another 6 months and we'll do another bone scan. So 6 months later, I went for another bone scan. And when I went, I could not see it in my mind. Now, the reason I tried this technique really was because I read a book many years before by Deepak Chopra, who's an Indian doctor, and he's an Ayurvedic medicine specialist as well. And he's really into mind-body medicine. And in one of his books, he talks about a little 10-year-old child who had a brain tumor that was inoperable. And the Chinese doctor taught him how to meditate and visualize it shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. And 3 months later, it was gone. So what I believe is that if one person can do something, we can all do it. And so that just set me on the path to a whole new life. And we left, I left the RSL, I left Chizen, and I didn't have any treatment for that at all. I just kept doing meditation every night and doing Reiki on myself. And then I just opened up. Actually, I started working around the Cobra Street Centre with 3 psychologists. And I started just getting such amazing results with people for everything. And it was physical pain, certainly. It was healing. It was anxiety, depression, stress, all sorts of different things that presented. And so it just really set me on that path and that thirst and quest for knowledge, and just to find different ways that I can help people heal. And so after I've done my Reiki, I've done all sorts of other healing as well. I've healing training. I've done theta healing and a thing called Yi Dao, and I've done Kinetic Shift, and I've done Touch for Health kinesiology, and Seishem, which I did when I did my master's, which is an Egyptian healing system. But it's all the same thing. It's all about clearing away blocked energy and getting people back into balance again. And I just have this belief on an energy level that if we're not moving in accordance with our path, it will cause a block in the flow of our energy field, or our aura, which is just a shield of energy that flows around each person. And I want you to, if you're skeptical about auras, I want you to think, if every atom has an electromagnetic charge, and that's electrons, protons, neutrons, then therefore every cell does, therefore every organ does, and the whole body does. And just by moving your hands, I could get you to feel that in your hands, that energy, in a couple of minutes. We could do that. We may do that later on in our session today. And so if we've got blocked energy in the outer field of our aura, each of those layers are connected to different things. And some of them are mental layers and emotional layers and physical layers. But if we can't deal with it, it moves into manifest as illness or injury on the body. And when we've got blocked energy in the body, it causes pain, and it causes damage to the cells. And it just tends to magnify everything that's going on. And so when we are trying to find ways to deal with that, what we know also is that things like stress, anxiety, and depression open up the pain gates in our pathway from the pain to the brain. And we know that feeling calm, relaxed, and in control of your life will close those pain gates down. So that's one way we can look at it with things like hypnosis. So we can work then to also clear away the emotional pain so it doesn't come back again, so we don't just keep representing and re-triggering. And we can work on the mental, emotional level, which then clears energetic blocks, and that can clear physical blocks. Or we can do things like Reiki and kinesiology and yoga and Tai Chi, things that will work at flowing, getting that energy flow again. That clears the energy block in those meridians, and meridians are rivers of energy that flow through the body. And when we've got a block in the flow again, it causes congestion, like a little dam in the river, and that can cause pain again. And so we can work with energy medicine. And I'm thinking I'm going to do some kinetic shift on somebody today, which is while you're on the screen, I'll be going, I'm going to pull that pain out, and everybody will be laughing. And then you go, but wait a minute, it's gone. And I'm telling you, it is like magic when we work with Kinetic Shift. I have one of my friends who does, she's one of my Reiki students, and she lives in Queensland. Oh, no, she doesn't now, but she was. And she had a torn hamstring, and she's also a triathlete. And she rang me up and she said, oh, I've torn my hamstring. I'm supposed to be in a race in 3 days. And I said, let's try this new little technique I've learned. So she said, all I've got is my phone. I don't even have a computer screen. I said, well, we'll give it a go. We've got nothing to lose. So she propped her phone up in front of her, and I could see a face and a little bit of a body. She could see me on the screen of her tiny little phone. And I promise you, I did this technique, and I said, I'm pulling that blocked energy out through the bottom of your foot. And she goes, I can feel that. I can feel that flowing down. It blew us both away, but probably took 20 minutes and the pain was gone. And she went in the triathlon 3 days later. So I know all of this sounds quite fictional, but I could get testimonials from people. I could get them to tell you exactly what they experienced. I also had a client in Ireland, and she said, "Oh, I've torn my rotator cuff," and I said, "You ready for some magic?" And so again, we did the same technique and pulled the pain out of her shoulder while we had her on the screen, her in Ireland and me here in Dubbo. And so I know the power of the mind, the power of quantum physics is really what we're talking about, because our thoughts have an impact on our energy field as well. So we can use the mental emotional strategy to start getting some inroads. We can use energy medicine to start clearing blocked energy. And we can use things that are physical things like doing exercise or having massages. And for pain, there are lots of different ways that people attend to it. And a lot of people end up taking medication, which probably Kim, your husband, would be taking some medication for his back pain. Is he or not?
He's not actually, no.
Oh,
he
thank
used
goodness.
to be on morphine patches, and he was on very strong drugs. And when he had his second back surgery, a fusion and a replacement, he didn't have to take anything. But unfortunately, that was 6 years ago. So the pain, discomfort's coming back.
Yeah.
So hoping, to help him a little with something.
Excellent, excellent. And so what we know is for a lot of people, they end up on the fast track to being addicted to painkillers. And there's an opioid crisis in America at the moment. And they're now saying more people are dying from drugs that are prescribed by doctors than they are from the drug epidemic with addiction. And part of that is because the nature of pain is that it's subjective. So if we've got other things going on in our life, it can make our experience of the pain a whole lot greater. But the nature of the receptors in our brain is to always want more. So we'll be taking some medication that might work for a while, but then you just need more and more of it to have the same effect. And that's not a merry-go-round anyone really wants to be on, because it can end up killing us, really. And that is the case for a lot of people. So I'm really glad, Kim, that your husband's not taking anything, because I think we want to just see what we can do to help as many people as possible. And as I said, there were 9 people that were registered for this workshop, so they're going to get this recording as well. And that means hopefully we're going to have some skills that we'll be able to share with others that will give you some tools to really start to help yourself. And that's really what I'm all about. And I can't get to everybody in my office. So if I can use tools over the internet to share with people, we're going to lift up the vibration of the planet. We're going to help as many people as we can to feel good. And what I know is it's like a drop of water in a bucket. If I can help one person to feel better, then they're going to take that back into their families, and they're going to shine that positive energy. They're going to feel a whole lot happier. And people in pain are not always easy to live with, as you know. They can be very snappy. And if they start feeling better, then it impacts everybody in the family. And, sometimes they get back to work, all sorts of things happen. As a matter of fact, talking about getting back to work, I had a lady contact me on Facebook years ago, and she said to me that her husband was addicted to oxycodone, and he'd been on it for 18 months, and he'd had spinal fusion 12 months ago. No, 6 months ago or something, she said. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was only 6 weeks ago. And so she said, I think I'm going to have to divorce him. I've had to move him out to the shed because, to the granny flat, because I'm the one giving him his medication, and now he's harassing me for it, and I can't deal with it. And I said, oh, just get him into me. I'll sort him out. And so the man came in, and I said, take a seat. And he said, well, I can't sit. My back's too bad. And I went, oh, okay, that's okay. Well, it looks like we're going to do some Reiki. And he said, well, I can't lie down. My back's too bad. And I said, well, I think you can. I'll put 3 pillows under your tummy, and you can just lie down. Then we'll get a nice, easy, like a nice, your bum here, and a nice sort of angle for your back so that you're fully supported. We'll just do some Reiki and see what happens. So I spent about 45 minutes just on his back. Next thing, he sits up and he says, oh my God, I don't know what you've done, but my pain is gone. I went, yeah, I love it when it works like that. And I said, what I normally find is that it will either work instantly or it will work overnight, because when we're doing energy medicine, that will continue working for sort of 3 to 5 days afterwards. And so what it's doing is clearing away blockages and rebalancing the body so that it's not me doing the healing. The body then speeds up its own healing process. So it just allows the body to do what it does best, and that is to heal and bring you back into that state of pain-freeness and balance and health again. And so I said to him, sometimes you'll find you'll just wake up feeling better, and sometimes it can actually get worse before it gets better, and that's a thing called a healing crisis. And a healing crisis is when we're condensing a longer period of healing into a shorter space, a shorter period, so it can sometimes be a little bit more intense. And when it's more intense, it can be quite painful, but then it just disappears. And when I first learned Reiki, when I did my master's, I did that out in Broken Hill, and I spent a night with my girlfriend Tony, and she had a really bad neck. And I just said, oh, well, let's just do some Reiki on your neck. And I did about 20 minutes on her neck. And about a month later, I rang her up and I said, oh, by the way, how's your neck? And she said, I could have killed you. I could have run you through with a knife. I went, what happened? And she said, I had more pain than I've ever had for 5 days, but then it just disappeared. Now, that was 25 years ago, and she's never had a problem with the neck ever since. So I know all these little stories sound quite amazing. So I think we might just get into it in a moment, and we're going to pull up our little book. Now I've got to go to share screen and multi-participants. What I want to do is hit this button and find my little book. Now, can you all see this book on your screen?
Yep.
Excellent. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to move that. Okay, so this is our little Mini-Blitz workshop, and we've got a few little bits of information here, tips and tools, simple ways to deal with pain. Now, I've already just talked to you about my little journey. Now, the purpose of pain, that's a really interesting thing, because sometimes pain actually serves a purpose, and generally it means that something needs attending to. And so if we, for example, had a toothache, it means that we need to then go and get our teeth looked at. And if we had an injury from going to the gym, it means that we would be best to stop the exercise that we were doing, perhaps. And so it really is telling us that something needs attention. Now, sometimes it can be an emotional thing that your physical pain body is trying to get your attention to. Sometimes it can cause you to stop having to do something that you don't want to do in the first place. So it can kind of knock you off your perch and make it so that you just can't do the things that you used to do when you actually didn't particularly want to anyway. I'm just trying to make that a bit smaller there. Sometimes it can get us love. It can get us attention that maybe we weren't able to get at some other time simply by asking for people to spend time with us. And so we don't always know exactly what that purpose is, but the subconscious mind has a knowing inside that can really let us know what it's all about. And so we can have pain that's chronic, or we can have acute pain. Now, acute pain is really something after maybe you've had an injury and it's just there for a short period of time. And then generally a lot of acute pain will disappear after about 6 weeks. You know, if you scratch yourself or you cut yourself, that'll heal up. But for some injuries, it can turn into chronic pain. And chronic pain, it means that it's there long term. And they're things like arthritis. They're things like bad backs that your husband's got after long-term damage. And so while that is there, it's already served its purpose. You've had the pain, you understand that something needs fixing, but if you're not able to fix it, then pain actually doesn't need to be there any longer. And that's the interesting thing, because once we sort of get an understanding of that, we can start to get the mind to start to work for us. And the subconscious mind is like 95% of your mind. And the conscious rational part, that's 5 to 10%. And just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab something. I'm attached to my microphone here, but I'm going to try to reach over and just grab just a little toy. Actually, I've got 2 toys I'm going to pull out of the bag. I should have got them out earlier. And now this is just a child's toy. Can you see that? Yes?
Yep.
And so is that someone else trying to come in? No, I heard a little beep noise. Okay. So basically, the left hemisphere of your brain is like your conscious rational part of your mind. And the right hemisphere of your brain is like your subconscious mind. So the left hemisphere, the conscious rational mind, is logical and it tries to understand stuff. It's all about information and trying to work out, what do I have to do? If this is a problem, what do I have to do to fix it? And it always is sort of looking for answers, but it's 5 to 10%. The subconscious mind is a creative part of us, but it's also the emotional part of us, and it deals with habits and patterns, and it deals with repetition and response. And so it means that if we do something over and over again, it becomes like a way of life. So every time we're going, so for example, if somebody's a smoker, every time they get stressed, they might have in the past always lit up a cigarette. So then that becomes like a neural pathway in the brain that says stress equals go and light up a cigarette. So we can form these little habits and patterns as well. And they're all in the subconscious part of the mind, which is like the bottom of the iceberg picture. But in the back part of your brain, there's a thing called the amygdala, and that's your fight-flight center. And so every time you go into a state of fight or flight, we go fight, flight, freeze, fight, flight, freeze. Fight, flight, freeze, fight, flight, freeze, fight, flight, freeze, and we get to full capacity. And when we do things like hypnosis, particularly serious hypnosis, like things like age regression, we're pulling out all the little triggers and we get a brain reset. And so basically, the subconscious mind, as I said, it's like the bottom of that iceberg. And that part of your mind is not, that doesn't communicate. The conscious and subconscious don't communicate. So you can't actually make rapid change simply by telling yourself, well, I'm not going to react like that. That's why people might stop smoking for a little while and then they'll get triggered and they'll go straight back to the old pattern, because that 5% is never going to beat that 90 to 95%. And so when we use the power of hypnosis, we can also then reduce all the triggers that expand the pain pathways. And when we can let that subconscious understand that it doesn't need to continue to give us pain for long-term or chronic pain, then we find that we can actually get that subconscious to work for us and just reduce it or eliminate it altogether. Now, here are some other simple practical ways to reduce your pain. Now, something else I didn't mention yet either, when we're in a state of pain and when we're in a state of stress, we have adrenaline, we have cortisol, and both of those hormones also widen those pain gates and they inflame your body. They increase your inflammation in your system as well and your acidity. Now, the mind-body stuff is just by far the most effective for working with pain. There's been a lot of studies on it. Now, here are some other practical ways that you can start to reduce your pain. Now, exercise and physical activity are really good because they will help to release endorphins in the body, and they're natural painkillers. They'll also keep that person mobile and flexible. Now, I'm going to skim over these. So you've already got this. Have you guys had a chance to look through this? Yep. Julie, did you have a look through too? Alicia,
Yes.
Alicia, unmute yourself and tell us whether you've had a little look. Excellent. I can see you there with that, Julie. Alicia, have you?
Yes, I have.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so exercise is really just movement. It doesn't mean that you've got to go and do a marathon. It doesn't mean you've got to do anything really hard, but it is about just making sure that the body's stretched and flexible. And what you'll also find is that that you can, as you increase your flexibility, for example, it can then mean that it'll give you the strength to be able to have much more function. And that's really what it's all about. And other sorts of exercise like Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong, when they're working with energy, they are actually also designed to clear the blocks in the meridians. Now, heat and cold therapy, probably lots of you have used this in the past. So you might use hot packs, you might use cold packs. And the hot packs are really meant to draw more circulation into those areas so that we can improve the flexibility. The cold packs, the ice packs, they're there to reduce the inflammation. Mind-body techniques, and we've already sort of talked about a lot of these things. And because there are always these psychological factors such as stress, anxiety, depression that open up the pain gates, we can use psychological means to close the damn things down again. And there are lots of different techniques that we can use that are mind-body techniques. There's things like tapping, which I think we're going to do a little bit of meridian tapping today because that's accessible for everybody. There are things like just doing deep breathing exercises, which is a mind-body technique that can affect the vagus nerve, and that can reduce the stress through your parasympathetic nervous system. But I'm not going to get all complicated here. Sleep's another one that we don't realize, because what we find is that if we get more sleep, most of you will know when you get enough sleep, you can deal with anything a whole lot more easily. But when you've got bad sleep, it increases your pain perceptions. And then, of course, the pain can also have an effect on your sleep. So we want to kind of work on a multi-layered effect. And if we can reduce pain, it's going to help you sleep better. So it becomes a positive cycle rather than a negative one. Hydration and nutrition. So hydration is really about, well, giving your body the fluid it needs. But what you'll find is when you're giving yourself enough fluid, something I haven't even put down here is that it helps the energy in your body flow. So it stops energy getting stuck. That water can help energy flow right through your body. It can clean up the toxins out of your system and flush your whole body out as well. And it can also work to cool and soothe any inflammation in the body. Dehydration can worsen muscle cramps and headaches. And certain foods also have anti-inflammatory properties that can really help manage pain. And incorporating rich omega-3 fatty acid foods and antioxidants and vitamins can actually support the overall health. But omega-3 is also really good for pain as well. So we can kind of elaborate on these, but we want to skip through and start really doing some work to clear away your pain. So Reiki, touch for health, kinesiology, kinetic shift, these are things I've already mentioned. And they are now, in the past, they were thought of as voodoo or things that were just something that the hippies did. And you know what I'm talking about. I can see that look on your face, Kimmy. And and now we know, like, as I said, I've been doing Reiki for 26 years. I'm the chair of Reiki Australia, and there are millions of people around the planet using energy medicine, using Reiki, using kinesiology, which is really working on the energy meridians. And these techniques, a lot of these energy medicine techniques have been around for 5,000 years. Now, they would not have been able to sustain themselves if they didn't work. So we want to keep an open mind and we want to try different things. And if we can find something that works, we're going to keep doing it, which is why I'm doing the work that I'm doing now. Okay, did anybody else hear a little beep then? No,
It
maybe
must be from my phone.
Maybe. It might be if somebody's trying to ring through or something. It might be coming through.
The message, I think it is. It's all good.
Okay, well, we're not going to worry about it. At least we know we haven't locked somebody else out of the room. And so acupuncture. Oh, looks like I've missed an A. I'll fix that up on that book. Acupuncture and other traditional Chinese medicine practices, they involve the thin needles going to those different points on the body, but they're really just along those meridian points. And what I often think of is Reiki's like acupuncture without the needles. So, and doing things like kinesiology, that's a biofeedback technique. So we can test the body to see where the energy flow is stronger or whether it's not. And lots of people have used acupuncture to relieve chronic pain as well. It doesn't always work for everybody, but it does have a really high success rate, particularly if you get somebody that really knows what they're doing. Massage, again, is another thing that can relieve the tension in the muscles, because remember, when we're tense and holding things tight, again, that can increase the pain levels in our bodies. Posture and ergonomics. So maintaining proper posture and ergonomics, especially for those who sit for extended period of time, can prevent or alleviate pain. So, you know, we've all seen probably kids these days that hunched over their phones, and they end up having problems with their neck. People sitting at a desk for hours a day often also are not conscious of their posture, and that can cause problems with necks and backs as well. Now, herbal and natural remedies. Certain herbs and essential oils and natural remedies have also got pain-relieving properties. And so, for example, turmeric contains curcumin, which is an anti-inflammatory effect, while ginger can help to reduce muscle pain and soreness. And lots of essential oils can also reduce swelling and inflammation while also increasing the blood circulation. So I've used doTERRA oils for, I don't know, 5 years or so. But before that, I've used essential oils for probably 30 years, maybe more, because when I was younger, I always wanted to be a little hippie. And we loved those essential oils back in the day. And so I know that doTERRA have got things like ice blue or deep blue in America, I think they call it. But that's got things like white fur in it, and it's got all sorts of different oils that will go really deep through the layers of the skin and into the muscle to increase the blood supply, reduce the swelling. So that's another thing that we can look at. Distraction techniques. And so have you ever noticed that if you're on social media, or if you're doing something you love, or even just watching a movie and your kids are saying, Mum, can I have this chocolate? And you go, yeah, whatever. And then later they'll walk in the room and you go, what are you doing with that? And they'll say, but you said I could have it. And it's because we're so totally focused on something else, we're not aware of all the things that are going on around us. And that can happen with pain as well. So lots of people will find that if they're not able to deal with their pain, they'll do something else just to distract themselves. And that works really well for a lot of people. And so now I've got the bottom part of the book was a little bit about you. And I just thought if you've got your books there, you can fill this in for yourself. And the reason I would like you to fill it in for yourself is because I want to actually do some techniques very shortly where we'll be able to then measure the change afterwards. So since there are only 4 of you here, I might even take notes myself on you guys. And actually 3 of you plus me. And what we want to do is, you know where your main pain area is. So Kimmy, on a level of 0 to 10, what number would your pain be?
My wrist pain?
Yeah.
Or my knee pain?
Either one, which one?
At the moment, it's my right wrist that's the worst. So probably about a 6.
6 out of 10. Beautiful. So we're just going to practice on one thing at a time. And what I want you guys to remember is that you'll be able to then replay this this video later on and do the techniques again. And I know that sounds bizarre, but you're on a video screen anyway. And I've had stuff where I've been doing this with people on Facebook, and they've gone, oh my God, I can feel that. And they've played it later on, just on my page, they've played it back and gone, yes, I can still feel that energy. So everything's intention. And through things like quantum physics, when we get a deeper understanding that our thoughts have an impact on our cells and our atoms, we realize that there's no real limitation to what our minds can do when we understand it. And for example, with Reiki, we do things like distance healing, where I can have somebody, and I do often have people over the other side of the world will just message me. I've got a son in New York, and when he tore his rotator cuff or something, or it might have, I mean, he's done lots of stuff. It was this shoulder actually. He just messaged me, Mum, can you send me some healing? I go, yep, no worries. And many years ago, many years ago, I worked with Jane Macrae when she was still alive, and I did a session in person, and she had a few hot spots, which was bone cancer at the time. And a couple of days later, I rang her and I said, how are you feeling? And she said, interestingly enough, when I had a hot spot on the left hip, it was just a dull ache. But since you did that treatment, I've had all this stabbing pain in my right hip. And I went, oh, I should have told you about that. That's called a healing crisis. And so I said, look, I'll do some distance healing on you this afternoon. and I'll check back in with you tomorrow and you can let me know how you go. And she said, yeah, sure, great. She really didn't know what I was talking about. I'm looking over to the side because I've got your pictures over here on the side. I might move them here so I can see you a little bit more front on. And so that afternoon at 4:30 in the afternoon, I got my little teddy bear and I went outside and I used Reiki symbols to build an energetic bridge between Jane and the teddy bear. And everything is in tension, but we use Reiki symbols to empower that. Then I just did a treatment on this tiny little teddy bear, and it's really weird when you're doing this stuff. You can feel hot energy spots on a teddy bear. And so I did the work on her lower back. No, on her hip, sorry. I did the work on her hip, and but I did feel some energy moving in her back. And so I just put that away. And the next morning I rang Jane and I said, how did you go? And she said, magic. The pain just disappeared out of my hip. And I said, before you say any more, I did that treatment at 4 o'clock. When did the pain go? And she said, no, 4:30, I think it was. And she said, it was 4:30. It was the same time. And I went, cool, this is awesome. And she said, but now I've got pain in my back. And I said, could we go with the same theory that it's just energy and it's just a healing crisis? She said, well, I'm prepared to do that because the pain's moving up and down my spine. And I went, great, that's awesome. Well, I'll do some Reiki tonight when I go to bed, and that'll be about 11 o'clock. I'll just take the teddy bear in and do it in the dark. And she said, I go to bed at 9, and I said, well, expect to wake up pain-free. And she said, whoa, all right. Well, I won't be able to ring you tomorrow because I'm going to the Melbourne Cricket Ground with Glenn. And I said, that's okay, I'll speak to you in a few days. So that night I did the distance healing again on the teddy bear for Jane. And on the Wednesday, she rang me up and she said, I just want to thank you because I woke up with no pain. And then we had to go to Melbourne. We walked around the cricket ground all day. Normally when I do that, my back is in really bad pain. My back's in agony. But it didn't come back. I just haven't had any pain. I went, I love this stuff. It's awesome. And so her and I sort of developed this telepathic communication almost, because anytime anything would happen to Jane, I would just know. And I'd go, oh, I'm just going to ring Jane. And she'd say, how did you know? I was just going to ring you. I've had this thing come up. Can you do some distance healing on me? So that went on for a couple of years. And my daughter had been living in New Zealand for 12 months. And when she and her little boy came back, and that's Cooper, and he was about 18 months old, I had the teddy bear set up in my dining room with crystals all around it, and the crystals had Reiki in them, so they continued to deliver unlimited Reiki to Jane while ever the teddy bear was sort of underneath this little grid. And this day, Cooper ran past, grabbed the teddy by the left arm, reefed it off the bench. The crystals flew everywhere. And I remember going, oh my God, I wonder if anything's just happened to Jane. I hope she's okay. What's the time? It's 2:30 on Saturday. Now, my daughter later said, I heard you say that, Mum. I know that happened. I went, great. So a few days later, Jane rang me and she said, I had this terrible accident on the weekend. I was putting my son James on the swing and he jumped up and he headbutted my shoulder and it desiccated it. And Glenn said the team physio's trying to help with my shoulder, but I can't lift it. And I said, yeah, did that happen on Saturday at 2:30? And she went, how did you know? I said, I think we did voodoo on you. And so while I had her on the phone, I did the distance healing. She said, I can't believe it. That pain's just gone, but now I've got pain in my right shoulder. And I said, metaphysics means that there's always more than a physical pain. There's always a mental, emotional reason for pain. And the right shoulder represents carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And she said, that makes sense to me. And I said, hold on for a moment. We did more Reiki on the teddy bear and she said, pain's gone. And so that just knowing that is going to open your mind to understanding a lot more about yourself. And what I'm going to do is I will also flick you through a little mini book on metaphysical causes. Now, this is Louise Hay wrote this book many years ago. She's now, there are now a lot more updated books, because this is one of my really old early ones. But when I find something that's really good, particularly for my Reiki students, if I'll source it, I'll look around and see if somebody's typed it up so I can share it, because I'm the person that gives away everything that I can so that it can just help as many people as possible. And I found a copy of this book that somebody typed up, and it's just Heal Your Body. Now, if we look up in this book, you can look up a physical problem and it will give you a mental, emotional reason for it. So it'll be about your thought patterns. So, for example, lower backs represent really support, because I want you to think, what does your spine do for you? Your spine is the support system of your body. And so when we've got lower back problems, it can be worrying about our support system, which is going to be money, or it's going to be your work as a general thing. So both those things can cause us to increase the level of back pain. And things like knees, I know because I had my knees myself, they represent stubbornness, ego, and pride sometimes, like, no, you've got to do it my way. But it can also be not being flexible enough in your attitude. And sometimes it can be the opposite. Sometimes it can be we don't stand up for ourselves when we need to. So it can be the flip side, the yin or the yang of those different sides of it. So it might mean that we're too busy trying to stand our ground and trying to convince other people to see things our way, or it might mean that we give our power away and we're just not standing up for ourselves when we need to. Wrists and hands are about, I have nothing to reach out to. So they're worrying about the future. Legs are worrying about the future as well, because our legs carry us forward in life. Shoulders, as I said, represent carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. Problems with our liver represent anger, because the liver is the seat of pain on an emotional level. And when we think of it, people go, oh, somebody's got shit on the liver. And again, they're just saying that person's got anger issues. So when we look at this, we get a deeper understanding of the causes. And while the work we're doing here today over 2 or 3 hours is about dealing with the effect, what I want you to do is start to think about the causes as well, because if we can get in and clear some of the emotional baggage that's causing these blocks in the flow of our energy field that's then causing physical pain, usually we can get rid of that stuff. And not only like this man that, I didn't even finish telling the story, the man who came and we did the Reiki and his pain was gone. And what I said to him was generally 4 sessions in a row was going to fix pretty much anything. But most of my clients don't need 4 sessions. And he said, book me in because I'm addicted to oxycodone and I need to get off that as well. And I went, rightio, well, we'll see how you go. And he came back a week later and he said, I've had no pain, but I went with no pain medication for 3 days, but I went into withdrawals. And I said, well, let's just keep going with the plan. So 3 weeks from start to finish, no more pain, and off his medication, even though the doctors told him he may never get off, or at least would take it 18 months to get rid of that pain, that medication addiction. He was off it in 3 weeks. And 6 months later, he brought his mother in to see me, and she had arthritis in every joint in her body, but I didn't recognize him because he'd lost 35 kilos and he was back working as a security guard at the hospital. And so there are all these different implications when we release pain and when we help somebody shift their perceptions and their perspectives about life. It can often mean that it's going to change their quality of life. It's going to get them back working again. It's going to get them back out in the garden or doing things that they love to do. So it's always interesting when we look at metaphysics as well and try to understand that if we can shift some of those perceptions, we can really have a really big impact on our physical levels of discomfort as well. So this little book, I will make sure you guys get a copy of. It's it just typed up, somebody's typed it up themselves. But what it's got is the whatever the pain is, and it's got the emotional pattern you've got that's underlying. Then it's got some affirmations you can use to start clearing away that pain as well, or clearing away that emotional baggage and shift your perspective. And so, Julie, where is your pain?
I don't know where to start.
Okay.
I've got multiple pain. I need 4 spinal fusions.
Okay.
I need a jaw replacement as a TMJs. The bilaterals are gone.
Okay.
I've got alkalizing spondylosis, which is an autoimmune disease with inflammation. So yeah, so I get a lot of referred pain all over my body, and it's really weird because I've had to actually read my body and go with the flow. Like, you know, I know that in the morning I'm going to have this pain and this is what I need to do. So I've had to rearrange my whole lifestyle.
Wow. Crazy,
Because
isn't
I
it,
used
when
to
we
be
think of
really
it?
active.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably just a learning lesson for me to slow down. But
Look,
yeah, it's a hard one. So yeah, so no, I had a bad relationship, and I ended up like this. I think I was too patient, I was too nice, too kind.
that's that people
And that,
pleaser thing that I was talking about.
yeah,
See, all
yeah.
these patterns start in the first 7 years of our life. So we've got to
Mm.
change those patterns if we want to change an outcome. And so,
It's
Julie,
really
just
hard when you're like first 7 years. It's really hard to do that when you've got parents, like, you know.
yeah. And they set
Yeah,
you up for what you're going to expect later on in your life and
yeah,
what you're going to accept later on in your life. But things like hypnosis, the work that I do means that we can undo that, so that you stop being on the cause side and you start being on the I mean, you stop being on the effect side and you start coming back to, I'm now responsible for changing who I want to be. And that is
yeah. And
so
I've got to do
empowering.
that.
And yeah, you're already there, but probably what you find, if you don't clear away those emotional patterns, they can just keep coming back, and
I've
they
started
can
doing
represent things.
EM. I've started doing EMDR, which has been quite good.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I was quite surprised actually how good it was.
So
And now I
do
can
you want
start
to tell
talking
people
about
what that
things.
is? Do you want to explain that while I have a sip of my
Oh,
coffee?
what is it? It's called EM, so eye movement.
Yep.
DR, desensitization. R is is it reaction? I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah.
EMDR.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
mean,
what they,
none of us really call it by its long name. We just go EMDR.
yeah.
And so
And then what it
again,
is about actually feeling something in your body, and you have, like, I sort of see it like, you know, when you do the hypnosis back in the olden days and they used to have that little watch sort of
exactly.
thing. Same sort of thing where it takes stuff
So
from
your eye movement is
one
going.
side to the other side. Yeah. And for you,
Excellent.
accept it, know where it's feeling, where it's come from, and facing it basically. But it worked really well with me.
Excellent.
Um,
And
yeah,
so again, that is something that we use in hypnosis too, because well, we don't always use it, but what you'll find is when you're going into hypnosis, you're getting this eye flutter and your eyes are actually doing that. So it's interesting,
yeah,
isn't it? Because all of these
yeah.
techniques are they all sort of merge with each other. And
Mm-hmm.
so what's your worst area of pain in your body right now, and put a number on it?
Probably my jaw at the moment. The jaw is really annoying because I've got teeth on teeth and I can't
Okay.
get any relaxation from it. Unless I keep having fluids or something soft in my mouth, then I can actually have a bit of a gap there. But if I'm not, then
Okay.
my tongue gets really busy and starts playing with my teeth, and all my teeth are loose because they're teeth on teeth.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not necessarily pain. It's more to do with like, I can handle the pain in my body at the moment. I
Yep.
know I need to do certain things at a certain time and attend to it, not ignore it, or it just gets worse.
Okay.
And people around me know that, and they've
Yep.
accepted that. They all know I can't go to a restaurant because I can't sit any longer than 10 or 15 minutes, if that. And then, you know, if you with a crowd that don't know you, they sort of think you're agitated or upset.
Yeah. And
And
you're
you go,
really
no,
just wriggling, trying to get
it's just
comfortable.
pain. So I
Yep.
have to entertain at home a lot, and people are really good. My friends are really good with that. They come
That's
into my
good.
place, so this is became my little haven. Mm.
Excellent. So
But
pick
yeah,
an
probably
area of
my
your
mom.
body and put a number on it.
As I said, it's not pain; it's more agitation, frustration, and frustration. Probably a 12 out of 10.
Okay.
Um, I know with um, phase, I think she put it down to anger with the jaw, but I know this was a
Yep.
physical thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So always going to be an emotional component as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though we were planning on working on physical pain today, if we can have an effect on that, we will. But
Okay.
what I think
We'll
when we
try
do,
lumbar's lumbar pain.
yeah.
Lower 4 and 5, I think it is at the moment.
So what number would you put on it?
8.
Beautiful. Now, Alicia, you'll have to undo your microphone and just tell us where is your pain or discomfort and what number would you like to pop on it?
I'd put a 6 out of 10 for my back pain.
Cool. And so I'm just taking that straight off our little book there. Now, your current level of emotional stress. Just give me a number, Kim.
Probably a 3. It's not, yeah.
Julie?
Probably at 8 again, because as the day goes on, it gets worse, and then I get,
Snappy
12
Tom.
o'clock, I have to sit down. That's it. All over. 12 o'clock every day.
Fair enough. Alicia, I know what your level of emotional pain is, and it's probably up there about 20 out of 10. But what number would you like to pop on that today?
I'll go 8.
Beautiful. Now, I'm not going to ask any more questions. I think we're just going to get into it. So this book is for you to write down your experiences and maybe use it at another time as well. So you could describe what your pain feels like, whether it's got a color, a size, a shape, a texture. We'll probably be doing some of that as we do the work anyway. The history of your pain, you can write that down. And if anybody comes to see me for their pain, bring your book so I won't have to ask the questions again. What do you think that is stopping you from healing? That is a really relevant one. So part of the reason I put these questions here is because I want you to start to think about these things as well. How do you want to feel? And the reason I've put that here is because so often when we've got physical pain, all we do is focus on the problem. Now, you've probably all heard of the law of attraction and maybe seen the movie The Secret probably 15 years ago when it came out. Maybe you didn't. But the law of attraction is really about that quantum physics stuff. It's about whatever we focus on, we tend to draw to us. Now, there is also a scale of consciousness. Have I got it up on my wall somewhere? No. Which I can probably flick to you. There was a book called Power versus Force that I read 15 years ago, and it was written by a scientist, or a kinesiologist actually, who was named David Hawkins. And he made this scale of consciousness where he was able to do muscle testing and calibrate a different frequency for each different emotion, which is kind of amazing. And as a matter of fact, I might be able to find that while you guys are just looking at this screen, I think I can probably get in and see if I can find it on my, maybe in one of my Reiki manuals, because I've got it in my Reiki manuals. So interesting. And the work I do is really interesting. What was that one?
What was
Power
it?
Versus Force. And and so basically, I'm just going to find one of my manuals, and I've got it in my level 1 and level 2 Reiki manuals as well. And it means I should be able to just zip through really quickly and find the picture of it. And I can, you're writing that down, Kim, are you? You're just writing some references? Yeah. So look, don't stress too much, because I'm going to give you links for everything. And
thank you.
And I just, as I said, I want to get you guys as free to have a good life as possible. And where is this book? Has it come up yet? Reiki Level 1 Manual. Please open little manual. For some reason that has not opened. So in that case, I will try opening up this document in a Word document rather than the PDF. It's got a download to do that apparently. And basically, so the way it works is the scale is out of 1,000. The lower frequencies are things like guilt and shame, and they're on about 20 to 30. And great, what have I got here? It's not what I'm looking at. You guys can't see what I'm seeing anyway, but hopefully this file, I'm not really sure how to do all this with Zoom open at the same time, because things just don't seem to work the same way. But Now, my manual has just opened, and let me make this a new share. If I do that for my Reiki manual now, you'll be able to see my manual. Yep, beautiful. And how fast can I make this go? I think it's right at the back. We'll just keep scrolling till I can find this picture.
No, shush.
There's a lot of pages in this manual.
Oh,
this has got 139 pages, I think. So that's
Oh,
a picture of the aura. And
yes.
I mean, sorry, the chakras.
The chakras, yeah.
Chakra system. And how we balance the chakras. There's a lot of stuff in here. Not that you need this, but where are we? Chakras. I'll have to go through faster because it's taking too long. The aura is there somewhere too. And
crystals.
Oh, yes, crystals. And pendulums, and we work on a lot of stuff. And there's stuff, different presentations I've done over the years, different trainings. I'm pretty vibrational medicine. Yeah. Where is this energy medicine stuff?
You ever worked with sound healing?
A little bit, not a lot, but I know lots of people that are doing it at the moment.
I've got a couple of bowls.
Ah, wonderful.
Now, I've got a lady 2 doors up from me. She does the hot and cold. She's naturopath, sound healing, drums.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting to talk to. Come on, back inside, Mama. Quick. No, we're not going to play. Off we go. Go back inside now. On.
Hey, I am now just going to, since I can't seem to find that there, I am going to go to scale of consciousness. Okay. Visit this website. Excellent. So now I'm going to make another new share, and this one is for what I've just found this on the website. And so if you look at this, we talk about the emotions on the right side. Shame is 20, guilt 30, apathy 50, grief 75, fear 100, desire 125, anger 150, pride 175, courage 200, neutral is 250, willingness 310, acceptance 350, inner peace is 400, inner wisdom 440, inner love 500, oneness 540, presence 600, non-duality 670, awareness, the great void, divine grace, super casual. What happened here? Now this other manual's opened up in there. So again, oh, that's good. I'll just show you what just flashed by, and that is the aura around the chakras. Can you see that? Maybe it's on the wrong. Is that on the right screen share now? Hang on, I'll come back to that.
Just got the pyramid. There we go.
Yeah. So that is basically that is what the aura looks like. And if I just shrink that down a bit, and it's just to give you an understanding, but there are colors that flow through that as well. And in a PDF, it's a whole lot easier to find. So the chakra systems, how they flow forward and back. And now I'm still going back to try to find, this is in my level 1 manual. Crystals. Ah, there it is again. And so let's just bring that up again. and different ways that you can raise the vibration. So that's all in there. But what we know is that when we were talking about feeling angry and sad, we're talking about these lower vibrations. And whatever we are focused on, whatever we're focused on, things like a problem, what it tends to do is hold our vibration down, and then we draw more experiences into our life that mirror back to us that vibration that we're focused on. And so in order for us to start healing, one of the other things we want to work with in mind-body medicine is truly just raising our vibration and focusing on what's good. And that is having an attitude of gratitude, because that will shift your energy level, that will raise your frequency. And when we're at those high vibrations, our pain levels just disappear as well. So that was kind of a little bit more than I was planning to share with you guys today, but it's just, while I've got you here, I'm going to teach you as much as I possibly can, so we can start making some inroads to your understanding of who you are as a person, not just the physical body, because it just houses our little soul anyway. And how to raise your vibration. Meditation, listening to music, dancing is another thing, or working out. Watching comedies will raise your vibration as well. Different foods. There's lots of different things that we can do to raise our vibration. Healing meditations, all that sort of stuff. And so now I'm going to go back to our little, and maybe we'll stop the screen sharing and come back to us now. And if I know how, stop share. Excellent. Are you trying to get some food down, Julie, there?
No, just walking around because of my pain, that's all.
Oh, okay.
This is what I mean when if I go out anywhere and I walk around, people think I'm agitated about something, but I'm not. I'm just trying to keep all those little joints going.
Excellent.
Yeah,
and so, so we've got a lot of stuff going on in our minds that has an effect on our bodies as well. And as I said, if we can reduce the stress level, it's going to reduce the pain level as well. And so what I was hoping to do now was maybe do a little bit of little bit of hypnosis for pain. And so would you guys like to find somewhere you can just get comfortable? And that might mean even, I don't know if you're in an office there, Kimmy, are you?
Yeah, just at home in an office chair.
Are you comfortable there?
I think so.
Okay. Quite often when I'm doing hypnosis with people, what I'll get them to do is kind of go and just lie down somewhere or get into a nice big armchair, whatever they need to do really, so that they can feel better. And so, Julie, will you be able to find somewhere you can sit or lie down and stay comfortable?
I've set my little place up with all these lie down places.
Yay, awesome.
Got a decision to make. Maybe a sec.
And Alicia, Alicia, would you be able to find somewhere that you can lie down or get comfortable?
Yes.
Awesome. And so all I want you to do now, ladies, is just find somewhere you can be nice and comfortable. Julie, just let me know when you've got somewhere.
I've got somewhere. I have just put you over there. Over there. Okay.
Excellent.
Right. Okay.
And I was going to get you guys to do a different technique, but I'm not going to now because Kim's got a sore wrist. So I'm just going to make it nice and easy on you to just get you into a nice state of hypnosis. And so what I want you to do is now just hang on for 2 seconds. No, I won't do what I was going to do. Now just take a big breath in. And I'm just going to begin to, I'll show you what I was going to do. Something I thought was pretty cool. And so can you see that beautiful spiral?
Yep.
Excellent. So you can just begin to focus on the center of the spiral if you like, because hypnosis is not sleep. It's a natural state that we are in and out of every day. And it's a state of focused concentration. And so as you begin to focus on the center, now I'd like you just to take a big breath in. And then I want you just to breathe out and close your eyes. That's it. And as you relax, begin to let those eyelids now just become so comfortable that they just don't want to work. So they're just so comfortable they couldn't be bothered to work. That's it. And then when you know you've done that, you might want to just give those eyes a little test to make sure of that. So they really are so comfortable that they just won't work. And so relaxed they couldn't be bothered to work. That's it. And so now we've got that beautiful level of comfort washing through the body. Imagine that you've got little dumbbells sticky taped to those eyelids so they start to relax down even more. So they're so comfortable they couldn't be bothered to work. And then once you've done that, just give those eyes a little test to make sure of that. To make sure you really have relaxed them right down. So they're so relaxed they won't work. Beautiful. Then stop testing, go deeper. And imagine that you can take that level of comfort down through the body as if it were this beautiful wave now flowing down from the top of your head to the tips of those toes again. Now, of course, every breath can take you deeper. Every thought can take you deeper. Every sound can take you deeper too. Knowing you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together, you and I. That's it. Now, as I mentioned, we all do better with practice. And so once again, just focusing on those eyes and letting them relax even more. So they're so comfortable they couldn't be bothered to work, so relaxed. They just don't need to work. And then once again, test them to make sure of that. And then stop testing and go deeper. Taking that same level of comfort down through the body, as if it were a beautiful wave flowing from the top of your head to the tips of those toes again. Excellent. Now, every breath can take you deeper, every thought can take you deeper, and every sound can take you deeper too. Knowing you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together. And knowing that right now there's nowhere you need to be but here. That's it. And so now we've got that beautiful level of comfort washing through the body. We're going to deepen that one more time. And so once again, just truly focusing on those eyes, letting them become even more relaxed so they're so comfortable they couldn't be bothered to work. So relaxed, they just don't need to work. And then test them to make sure of that. Then again, stop testing and go deeper. And imagine that you can take that level of comfort down through the body one more time. Like a beautiful wave now washing from the top of your head to the tips of those toes. Now every breath takes you deeper, every thought takes you deeper, every sound takes you deeper. And any outside noises just serve as a sign to relax. Knowing that you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed anytime we're working together. Beautiful. So now we've got that beautiful level of comfort washing through the body. Let's just begin to relax the mind. And so I'm going to get you now to just continue to follow instructions. And so in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And as I count from 1 to 5, I'd like you to let your mind just become so comfortable and so relaxed. It could be as though you want to go maybe 10 times deeper now. And as I've said, if you want that, you can have that. It's all self-hypnosis. So 1, just drifting deeper and deeper down. 2, as if every out-breath we're taking down that internal staircase, just going deeper and deeper now. 3, your relaxation continuing to deepen and double more and more. Just knowing that you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together, you and I. Excellent. So now we've got that beautiful level of comfort just washing through the body and through the mind. We're just going to double that relaxation now. And as I've said, if you want that, you can have that easily enough. Because it's all self-hypnosis anyway. And no one can make you say or do anything that you don't particularly want to say or do. That's it. So 1 more time, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And this time when I say the number 5, I'd like you to double that relaxation. So 1, just drifting deeper and deeper now. 2, as if every out-breath were taking you down an internal staircase, just going deeper and deeper now. 3, that relaxation continuing to deepen and double more and more. With every breath you take, with every thought you think, with every sound you hear, with every word that I say. 4, the deeper you go, the better you feel. And as I've said, the better you feel, the deeper you go. And 5. So you just want to go 10 times deeper now, from the top of your head down to the tips of those toes once more. Excellent. So now we've got that beautiful level of comfort, just washing through the body and the mind. You see, there are 3 main things that we do when we do hypnosis. The first thing we do when we do hypnosis is simply following instructions. And just by doing that, you've already got a beautiful level of comfort just washing through the body and the mind. And probably by now there's a part of you who's thinking to yourself, I wonder if I'm in hypnosis yet. It doesn't feel like I'm in hypnosis. I can hear every word. But you see, that's just the conscious mind. And that part of your mind knows why you're here. It knows the changes you want to make for yourself. And is willing to do whatever is necessary to give you what you need. Start to experience greater levels of comfort in the mind and the body throughout your life. And so it doesn't matter what the conscious mind's thinking. The subconscious is listening and it's always hearing everything. And this is where we can make some rapid change. Now, the second thing we do when we do hypnosis is that I can just talk. And as I said, just by following those instructions, you've already got a nice level of comfort flowing through the body and the mind. But just by mentioning certain things, you can then see them within the mind's eye. So, for example, even though you may not have been thinking about it a moment ago, well, now that I mention it, you could probably find that you could become even more aware, perhaps an image of a younger you, maybe on a swing having some fun. And so you may be sitting on the swing, you might be pushing the swing, you might be watching someone else on a swing having fun. Again, it doesn't matter. It's all about knowing you can just bring that feeling up easily enough, or that image of a younger you on, near, around a swing having fun. Or perhaps, now that I mention it, you could probably bring up an image of a younger you on, in, near, or even around water having fun. And maybe you'll see yourself at the beach or the river or the dam or the swimming pool. But once again, it doesn't really matter. It's all about knowing you can bring up that picture easily enough just because I mentioned those certain things. And so the third thing that we do when we do hypnosis is that I can just talk about these different feelings and sensations. And by mentioning these things, you could then see them within the mind's eye. Or you can feel them within the body. So just because I mention it now, I want you just to become even more aware, perhaps, of the feeling of your clothing on your body. Maybe it's the warmth and the snuggly feeling, or maybe it's the heaviness. Or just because I mentioned, you could probably now become even more aware of the feeling of whatever it is that's supporting your body, whether that's the chair, or perhaps that's one of those comfy spots in Julie's garden. Or it might be lying down on a bed somewhere, but again, it doesn't matter. It's all about knowing you can just bring that feeling up even more strongly. And that feeling just reminds you that you are always safe and secure, calm and relaxed anytime we're working together, whether that is in person or online. And so as you continue relaxing now, I'd like to just say a little bit about the nature of pain and pain relief. And as I mentioned, pain really is a signal, and it's a signal that something needs attention. And if we were lifting heavy weights, then that discomfort in our muscles would signal that we need to stop at a certain point. And as I mentioned earlier, a pain in the mouth means we need to perhaps go and see a dentist. And of course, if we had a muscle pain from a sports injury, it might mean we need to take some time out and rest up. So pain really is a signal, but it's always trying to tell us something. And there are always these psychological factors involved. And because of this, we can start to really ease pain through different psychological methods. And hypnosis really can help. Now, we feel more pain when we're feeling anxious, stressed. We feel more comfort when we're feeling rested, relaxed, and calm. And we feel like we're in control of our own lives. So emotional arousal, hunger, tiredness, and expectation all play a role in how open those pain gates are, or pain pathways. And the pain gates are closed when the signals from a particular part of that body stop being transmitted up the spinal cord. Now, as I mentioned, certain things can close the pathways and certain things can open them up. Anxiety, pain, depression, or anxiety and depression and stress, they open them up. They leave you experiencing greater levels of pain. Positive expectation and rest and relaxation, they can close those pathways, or at least make them smaller, which then gives you a greater sense of overall comfort. Now, it's important to understand that you're seldom either completely in pain or completely pain-free. So it's not black or white. It's not completely this or completely that. Pain is a continuum. And you can be more or less comfortable. So once again, I want you to think about the discomfort you've been experiencing. Of course, if 100% was the very worst, or even if we say 10 was the worst, and if we say 0 was the best, well, how much have you been putting on that? What scale would you give it at the moment? And maybe it's a 6 or an 8, maybe it's a 3. Maybe it's higher or lower. And so once you've graded it, then you can really start to notice these gradual improvements, or even some dramatic ones. So just thinking now about that old discomfort you've had, even if you're not feeling it so much right now. And then I want you just to ask yourself how you describe that in your own words. You don't have to speak out loud, but just think about how you would describe that. Some people talk about a stabbing pain. Some people call it a burning pain. Others describe their pain as a dull ache. And some people describe it as a cold drilling pain. But just think about it for a moment. And how would you describe that discomfort in your own words? That's it. Now just making yourself really comfortable, and then just think about that discomfort of yours. And if it had a color, what color would it be? What color would you give it? And maybe it'd be red or some other color. Just thinking about that for a moment and just getting a sense of giving that discomfort a color right now. Excellent. Now, if that discomfort you've been having, if it had a shape, I wonder what that would be. So just getting a sense now of that in your mind. And at the same time, I want you to begin to breathe a little bit more deeply and just breathe a little relaxation and calmness right throughout your entire mind and body, so that you extend the outer breath. And just feel the body just unwinding and relaxing that little bit deeper. And now perhaps you could also give that discomfort a texture. Now it might be sharp or rough or smooth. But if you gave it a texture, what would that be? Just noticing that for me now. That's it. And you can now just begin to notice this increasing level of calmness, just flowing from the top of your head down to the tips of those toes. And imagine that tranquil rest beginning to soothe its way right through and around your whole body. And as you do this, I'd like you now to notice the color beginning to change. That's it. And what happens as it does? So maybe it gets a little paler or just changes you altogether. That's it. Just noticing now that color beginning to alter. And as it happens, just noticing what begins to happen to the shape and the texture. As sometimes it gets a bit smaller and really begins to fragment and break into tiny little smaller pieces. That's it, almost like disintegration. That's it. And you may also like to notice it beginning to disperse now. That's it. And your unconscious mind can really become very good at doing this for you more and more rapidly. Excellent. And now I'd just like you to notice as you rest so deeply to each and every word that you can now imagine seeing relaxation as a new restful color, just flowing all around you like cool water, calming and soothing and quenching heat in any areas. So noticing that now. That's it. And then in your mind, now just getting a sense of relaxation more and more completely with each and every word. Or maybe even the spaces between my words. And then I'd like you to really get a sense of wandering down to a really restful place. Because some places are just so restful and so relaxing. You know how the colors and the shapes, or just something about a place like this can just help you to imagine what that feels like to be there. It's so calming, so comfortable. And so now as I count from 10 down to 1, I'd like you now just to get a sense of beginning to really settle down in a really peaceful, comfortable sanctuary of peace within your mind. And so with every step, you can relax towards a sense of this place within your mind. So 10 and 9, 8. And you know it might be a place you've been before, a place you'd like to go. On 7, 6, 5. That's it. On 4. And just starting to now notice this sort of a healing light just starting to flow closer towards you. As you continue to rest so completely, gently easing and soothing every part of you. That's good now. 2 and 1. And as that deeper level of relaxation really begins to wash and soothe over you, take a few moments now to really settle comfortably within your mind into such a relaxing and comfortable place. That's good. Just noticing which part of your special place allows you to relax the most. Whether it's the gentle colors or the way the light is or the shapes and sounds that are around you as you just relax even deeper now. That's it. And within this place, I just want you to notice as you feel more completely relaxed. A wonderful color of calm now going to where it needs to be. In this wonderful place. That's it. Now, you might have heard the expression out-of-body experience. And so in a few moments, I just want you on the count of 3 just to get a sense of drifting right out of yourself and just observing yourself now in that special place. And seeing that you over there looking so relaxed and so comfortable. And the you who's observing can just feel so completely detached from that physical you relaxing deeper in that special place. So getting ready on the count of 1, 2, and 3. That's it, just drifting right out of yourself and feeling so relaxed and so comfortable. And just settling now so comfortably, just watching yourself receiving that almost magical benefit of being in that special place. That's good. So as you rest deeper, I'd like you now just to take another journey in your mind. And your mind can close off signals and restrict them, allowing you to feel so comfortable for good periods of time. And you can just get that sense now, right now, as you just drift so deeply, of just relaxing or just wandering into a control room, like a metaphor of the mind. That's it. And now just getting a sense of looking at the buttons and the screens and the dials in your mind, like a big switchboard just lighting up in front of you. And take a few seconds now just to locate that electronic dial that can switch pain on and off. Because you see, you can really begin to use this dial a lot. So take a few seconds now just to locate it. And notice its shape and its colors, its textures. That's good. Now, when I count from 1 to 3, I'd like you now just to notice what it's like just to turn that dial right down. Just closing those sensation gates. And every time you do this, you'll get better at it. And they can be closed for good periods of time. So 1, 2, and 3. Just turning this pain dial now until it feels much more like a comfort dial. That's it. And as you just rest so much more completely right now, you can become aware of just floating back into that you there in that special, calm, comfortable place. And then you could just begin to get a sense of strolling or just drifting right back to the room in a few moments, just feeling so much more rested and relaxed. And so as I count now, from 1 to 5, you'll be able to come all the way back to the room. So 1, more aware now of that chair or bed or restful place where you are. 2, becoming more aware of the feeling of those clothes on your body, keeping you warm and snug and comfortable and safe. 3, becoming more aware of the air as you breathe it into your body, knowing that this air also brings with it ki, chi, or prana, life force energy that flows through every living thing. 4, getting a sense of how it is you want to feel and noticing the shifts that have already begun as you start to come closer to the surface now, more aware, more awake. And 5, slowly coming all the way back to the room or back to the outdoor area where you may be. Opening those eyes and coming all the way back. And so, what I'd like you to do now is just check in with your body and let's see if we've got a little shift in some of those perceptions. So, Kim, how are you feeling now?
My wrist does feel a bit better, but I got a lot of energy on my chest.
Ah,
and
that's
just like my
interesting.
brain was like fighting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so
But just
at
a
some
lot of
parts of this,
energy.
yeah, I had intention of sending energy to you guys while you're having this session as well. And it's interesting that you had that experience because I noticed when we started talking about Reiki earlier, you had a bit of a smile on your face. Now, have you done any training in this area? Or is it that,
Yeah,
yeah, I thought so. And so, as you know, if you've done energy training, you tend to draw what you need. And, when I do Reiki treatment on somebody, it's not me sending energy. I'm just this hollow reed and they draw what they need through me. And the same thing
I
can
find when I
happen.
get sick, I can't activate my Reiki.
And that is probably because you're not meant to be giving it to anybody else. You're meant to be sustaining yourself. And
Yeah, but even for myself, I can't get my hands to warm, or I can't.
so
Yeah,
so don't stress or don't judge. Don't judge that it
yeah.
has to be a certain way because there's lots of different levels of Reiki. And one of those levels is coldness in your hands. And that's a
Yes, I
higher
get that.
level. Yeah. And that can actually be spiritual energy that you're drawing or using.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's done Reiki will say sometimes my hands are hot and sometimes they're not. But what I know is it still works. So that
Yes.
for you is a little test to stop judging yourself because we're all so good at doing that. We
Yeah.
judge ourselves so harshly. So just trust the
My brain
process.
kicks in and tells me when, yeah,
I
it
must be doing
tries to
something
make you
wrong. Yeah,
believe it's not working. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
And
so
you doubt yourself, and yeah.
yeah. And look, as I said, I'm the same. I've looks like Julie's disappeared. So she'll come back again. I'm not sure where she's gone. But yeah, it's always a big lesson for us because we are so good at judging ourselves because that's how we were trained by being criticized or put down when we're growing up. And so we just don't even trust ourselves. But what you'll
Yeah.
find is just laying your hands on whether you can feel anything or not, it's going to be flowing. It's all flowing. So let it go. And it was really interesting that you felt that in your chest, in your heart area is really what it is.
Yeah, just in the center, and I'm still feeling that energy. And it was like a
Excellent.
nausea as well. Like,
Oh, that's not good.
it's weird.
And so we might actually just pull that right out if you want me to move that for you energetically.
Yeah, if that would be useful, that would be good.
Excellent. But before we do, Alicia, do you want to just tell us what number your physical pain might be at the moment?
So mine's halved to about a 3.
Awesome. That's great because we're going to do some more stuff too, which is
Mm-hmm.
really good. And what I'm going to do now, Kim, is I'm going to do a thing called kinetic shift with that nausea. And Alicia, we haven't got you on the screen, so that's okay. But I want you just to accept this as pulling some of that pain out of your back at the same time.
Okay.
Because our intention is, I'm just going to make it so that when this records, and I'm going to pin myself there now. Where is the pin button? I think I can do that. I think it's pinned already. And what that means is that that my intention is going to be to do the technique and that you get what you need. So you guys will then receive that energy. So normally I would put your face up on the screen so I can see you and see what I'm doing. But because we're recording this, I want you to be able to use it again and again and again. And that means, Kim, the technique we're about to do, and I will find out where we are on the recording, what number it's on, so that if you need to, you can just go straight to it. And you can use it for your husband as well. And you could use it
Thank
so
you.
that he'll be able to use the technique too. So normally what we want to do is put you into a light trance first so that we can just continue to open the mind up. And then we're going to energetically use the chakras in my hands. And you know about chakras in your hands. Not everybody does. Alicia does too. Alicia's done Reiki training with me. And I've got a pen on my hand from my nearly 7-year-old granddaughter, my 6-year-old granddaughter. And we're going to use those chakras to energetically pull that blocked energy right out of your body. And we'll only do this for a few moments so you can get a taste of it. But it should get rid of that very, very quickly because it's a nausea feeling. And Alicia, you should notice some shifts too, because there's some other things I want to do as well. I want to also do a couple of other hypnotic techniques. One is called old pain to go. So we can kind of get it to drip out of your body. And again, you can use this for anybody watching this recording can use what we're doing now and play it back later and use it. If we're doing the hypnosis stuff, find somewhere comfortable, lie down and just let it play. And you can all use this kinetic shift technique we're about to use as well to unblock blocked energy. So in Chinese medicine, we've got, well, we talk about 14 main meridians, and that's the same for acupuncture. That's the same for kinesiology. And they are just rivers that flow through the body. And they say there's 14, and they name them after the different organs that the body, that the rivers go through. So there's the gallbladder meridian, and there's the heart meridian, and there's the stomach, the lower, small intestine, large intestine. There's all of these things. But in fact, it's one river. It's one pathway that goes right through the body, and they've just broken it up into 14 parts according to the organs. So it's easy to pinpoint what they're talking about when we're talking about where there's a block in the flow. And so, as I said, we get blocks in those parts of our meridian system. And when they're there, it's like you've got a river and there's a dam. So all this congested energy starts to build up on the other side of it. And when we use our intention and our energy, and I can feel you guys now, it can actually start to clear away that blocked energy. And when we clear the blocked energy, we speed up the healing process, and the pain just disappears or dissipates. And that's our aim. And so what I want you to do is, because Kimmy's got a sore wrist, she doesn't need to do this. I'm going to teach everybody else how to
do it.
Okay, let's have a crack at this.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what I want you to all do is take your hands out in front of you like this. Just squeeze those knuckles for a moment. And then I want you just to bend your elbows and open the first 2 fingers and look through your fingers at me. Look at the screen. That's it. And now I want you just to imagine that we're putting some little magnets on those fingertips. So those fingers are going to start to draw together. The magnet's getting stronger and stronger. Those fingers starting to pull together, drawing together like a magnet. And as they come closer and closer, you can just take a big breath in a moment. When they touch, you can just breathe in, breathe out, and let those hands just rest down on your lap. But just focusing now, those magnets getting stronger and stronger. Let's tie a little thread around, pull that thread. Excellent. And just continuing to notice those fingers sticking together like glue. Now take a big breath in, close your eyes, and you can relax your hands down for a moment. Excellent. And now what I want you to do is just mentally go in and just focus again on what number that might be. And for you, Kim, that might be that feeling of discomfort in the chest. For Alicia, it might be in her back. It might even be an anxious feeling somewhere in the body. But just scale that for me now. And since we're using Kim as our example right now, Kim, what number would that yucky feeling be in your chest at the moment?
Probably a 5.
Excellent. Now close your eyes down so you can get right into your body. Now, if it had a color, what would it be? First thing that pops into your head,
Purple.
Don't overthink it. Purple. Beautiful. And so, Alicia, since I've got you there now, you might as well just tell me if we're still talking about the back pain, it's just maybe still a 3 out of 10. If that had a color, what would it be?
Blue.
Beautiful. And so we're going to go back now, and we're just going to use Kim as a demo model. So Alicia, you won't need to unhook your microphone again. But I want you, when I ask questions and Kim answers, everyone else that's watching this video, you can come up with your own numbers, your own colors. And so as I come from 1 to 3, you can just open your eyes again and just look at the screen. Excellent. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to energetically start to clear away that blocked energy. And for Kim, that's in the chest area. For Alicia, it may be the back. And for anybody else that's watching, just go with the flow and just have a crack at this, because it's going to be really interesting. Now, I'm going to gently start by doing some anti-clockwise circles, because anti-clockwise circles pulls energy out. And then we're just going to start to pull that right out of your chest, Kim. And what I want you to do now is just relax as I just pull that all the way down. And only imagine using your powerful mind that I'm pulling it down through the body. And now I'm pulling little threads out through your feet. And I want you to imagine now we're putting some little taps on your toes. So we're going to pull that blocked energy all the way down and out through those toes. And again, pulling that out. Now, just checking in with your chest. What number is that now? Is that still a 3? Beautiful. What color is it now?
Silver.
Excellent. Now, can you feel that flowing down through your legs?
No.
Okay, that's okay. It doesn't matter, because we've only got a tiny little screen there. I'm going to keep doing it anyway. I want you to imagine now that we're putting we're pulling those little taps on those toes, but imagine it's like we've pulled the plug out of the bathtub. Now we're going to just gently lift it up and take it right over your head and pull that blocked energy out through the top of your head. Now just let me know, are you feeling anything shifting? Because I've only just feel like I've contacted you there. You're feeling anything flowing through your head now? Or
just... Not really, no.
That's okay. So you're feeling it lessening in your chest, though. That's the most important thing. Excellent. Yes. So everybody experiences this differently. If I had you here in person, you'd feel it a whole lot more easily.
And a loosening between my shoulder blades.
Excellent. So as you know, with energy, it flows to wherever it's needed. And you'll also find that if we're directing at your chest, it's going to go right through anyway. Yeah. And we're just going to keep moving. Now, on a quantum physics level, we can just push right through that. Excellent. Now, just checking in again, what number is that now?
It's probably a 1. It's just opening and lightening and...
Perfect.
Just air.
That's wonderful. Now we're going to just lift it up and down through, got my microphone in the right, down through the shoulders and just smoothing out, coming down through those arms, and imagining we're putting little taps on your fingers so that we can pull that blocked energy out. Excellent. Now for Alicia, we're going a little bit lower, and again, pulling it down through the legs and out through the feet to really clear blocked energy. And again, right up, and we're going to backwash it for a moment and back down again, out through the feet. I know it's bizarre, but as long as they're getting shift, that's all that matters. Back up through the top of the head. Kim, what number is that on now?
Probably a 0.
Excellent.
It's just feeling really light and airy.
Excellent. So I want you now just to look at my finger on the screen. Follow my finger with your eyes from side to side. And again, we're talking that eye movement. And as you focus on my fingers, I want you to now say out loud, it's gone, 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 it's gone. And now, if there was another color that for you meant it feels fantastic, what would that be?
Pink.
Perfect. So what we want to do now is just imagine drawing that energy in from the universe, a beautiful pink energy. And now I want you just to pop that in there. Just close your eyes and send it now into your chest area. Alicia, you can bring any color you like in and just imagine that now diffusing right through your lower back. And anybody else that's watching, use any color you like. See the power of the mind. Your intention is magnetic. What you think about, you bring about. Where you send your thoughts, your energy follows. And let it all soothe down. And when you're ready, just opening those eyes again. So, Kim, how are you feeling now?
Yeah, good.
Excellent. Alicia, how are you feeling?
Very calm.
Perfect. Excellent. And so would you guys like to maybe have a little toilet break or a drink or anything?
Yes, that'd be good.
Excellent. So I'm just going to pause our recording. When you come back, I'll just take it off the recording and we'll just finish our little session. We're almost there. Excellent. And so now that everybody's had a little break, welcome back. And let us now just find somewhere we can just relax. And we're going to do another little hypnosis session. Now, the other thing you probably don't realize is every time you do hypnosis, you actually get better at it. And so even the fact that we've done a little bit already in our session today means that you should find this is even easier to go back into that state. So take a big breath in and then just close those eyes down. And once again, begin to focus on your eyelids. And you can really let those eyelids relax down so much that they won't work, just like you did a little while ago. And of course, we know if you wanted to open your eyes, you could do that easily, but the only way you could is if you stopped following instructions and you stopped relaxing them. And I don't want you to stop. I want you to hold on to that relaxation, maybe deepen that even more so. And then when you know you relax them to the right level, you might want to test them to make sure of that. And then stop testing, just go deeper relaxed. And imagine that you could take that level of comfort down through the body, just like a beautiful wave now flowing from the top of your head to the tips of those toes again. Now, every breath takes you deeper, every thought takes you deeper, and every sound can take you deeper too. Knowing that you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together, you and I. That's it. Now, one more time, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And this time, when I say the number 5, I'd like you just to maybe double that relaxation for me. So 1, just drifting deeper and deeper down now. 2, as if just drifting down through an inner world. Safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together, you and I. 3, that relaxation now deepening and doubling more and more with every breath you take, with every sound that you hear, with every word that I say. 4, just drifting deeper and deeper now. Know where you need to be, but here. And 5, it's going deeper and deeper. Now, Julie has just joined us again. So, Julie.
Phone went flat. Phone went flat.
So we are now in the middle of another session. So find somewhere and you can just listen in so that we can all continue to relax and go deeper. And then once again, just starting to focus on those eyelids, letting them relax even more so they're so comfortable they won't work. So relaxed they don't need to work. And then one last time, just testing them to make sure of that. And once again, just take that level of comfort down through the body, like a beautiful wave flowing from the top of your head to the tips of those toes. Excellent. Now, every breath takes you deeper, every thought takes you deeper, every sound takes you deeper. Just knowing that you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together. Excellent. So one last time, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And as I do this time, you can just double that relaxation even more so. So 1, going deeper and deeper down. 2, as if every out breath we're now taking down this internal staircase going deeper and deeper. 3, that relaxation continuing to double. knowing that you're safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together. 4, the deeper you go, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the deeper you let yourself go. And 5, doubling that relaxation once again. Now, one more time, I want you to remember that we've got these different things that we go through when we do hypnosis. The first thing is follow instructions. The second thing is bringing up pictures and images. So maybe you could just imagine maybe an image of yourself as a little kid, maybe riding a bike. You might remember that. You might picture that. You might just get a sense of it. It might be a picture of you riding the bike or someone else just having fun. It doesn't matter, but you can bring up a picture like that. And the third thing's focusing on the feelings, the sensations, like whatever it is that's supporting you, just reminding you you're always safe and secure, calm and relaxed as we work together. And so, as I mentioned to you throughout our workshop, pain has got a purpose. And that purpose is to alert us that there's a problem, like a wound or a torn muscle or an injury. But 6 to 12 weeks after any injury, it should actually be healed. So the pain's already served its purpose. Now, if that pain persists and all that can be done has been done, then the old pain can now be released by the subconscious mind. And so what I want you to do now is just think about that problem. And it might be arthritis, it might be a worn injury, it might be from an accident that's happened, or some other thing. Just think about that for a moment and just get an understanding of what it is that you want to work on here today. And it's interesting because arthritis is a protective system to protect you from movement that could hurt you. So the body then produces calcium to deposit in those joints to deliberately stop you from moving your joints into a position that could hurt. And if we reverse this and tell the body that there's no pain, then it can reabsorb the calcium and get rid of the arthritis. So isn't that interesting? Now, if you didn't have that pain, that inflammation or tension, how would you even know that you had the problem? How would you know you had arthritis if that's what it is we're working on? And so if I help you to let go of that, how will you know that you've got a problem? You won't. Now, if I was your unconscious mind and I was continually calling you up, maybe at 10 o'clock just to tell you you've got arthritis or you've got an injury or whatever, eventually you'd probably hang up on me. You tell me to rack off. What's the point in the unconscious mind continually doing this to you? Continually shouting out by giving you pain? Because you already know you've got the problem. You already know that it may be arthritis or whatever. So you don't actually need it to continually tell you. So once again, give me a score from 0 to 10. And just, you don't have to say it out loud. Just get a sense of that. Notice where it is that might be, what number on the scale. And so now, I'm now talking to your unconscious or your subconscious mind. Now, would that part of you like to be free of the pain or discomfort? And if that's a yes, you could nod your head or just indicate in any way if you'd like to actually be free of that. Excellent. And so I'm talking to the subconscious or unconscious mind. And we don't just necessarily want a thumbs up. We want a really good, clear message from your subconscious mind. A good yes. To really check in with yourself. And when you feel that, the good yes isn't to me, it's to your unconscious mind, you see. Because this is you deciding that you don't need the pain anymore. And so you're now making it really clear to your unconscious mind, but you don't need that pain any longer. And so now we've got it from the conscious mind. We're going to find out if your unconscious or subconscious is actually happy to do that and release it today. So I want you just to check in with that unconscious mind that you really are ready to do that today. And what we want to do now, for those that I can see on the screen and for those that are at home listening to this recording, we're going to just ask for yes. And so I'm just going to ask the unconscious mind if it's willing to switch off that old unnecessary pain message. So in your head, just ask for the yes signal. Just wait for it for a moment. And then I want you just to give me a sign. You might want to just, beautiful. But that subconscious part of your mind is really willing to do this now. It's going to let it happen. It's made an agreement for us. So now that you've agreed with the yes, that you're going to turn off that pain message. And so unconscious mind, I want you now just to delete all of the old unnecessary pain messages. And this is how we don't have to go back and delete it all over again. Delete all the messages. And this is something that you might remember that you've got as well, like some old answering machine that just keeps playing over and over. And the only way to get rid of it is delete it so that it can't possibly play again. And so it's not just going to numb the area, it's just going to stop sending the old message. That old thing that you know about, or those things that you know about in your body. And so subconscious, unconscious mind, continue and go ahead and do that now. And you can just give me a mental yes or a movement when you know it's done. Beautiful. And now what I want you to do is thank that unconscious mind for agreeing to turn the pain off and actually doing that and turning that off. Now, you may not be totally pain-free for this moment, but there are chemicals and electronic signals or electrical signals. So it may take a few moments for them to clear out of your body. And so here we go. I now want your unconscious mind to scan your body and just look for any muscles that are in tension. And we're just going to ask that body to relax, relax, and totally relax. And so in a moment, totally under my direction, I'm going to ask your unconscious mind to scan your body, looking for any muscles that are still in some sort of tension despite being asked to relax. And those muscles may have sort of locked up at some point in time, but they don't actually know that they can relax even more. They don't think they can even move sometimes. And so the best way to unlock those muscles is just to tighten them up for a moment, just a little bit at first, and then to allow them to relax. And they will then more than likely go back to even further than when they were before. Now, if we do that 3 times, then they go back to a normal way of being, a normal state, a normal waiting state. So now under my direction, just for the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind, do not do anything that I tell you to do consciously when your eyes are closed. So just for the unconscious or subconscious mind, now scanning for any muscles that are tight or locked up. When it finds them, you're really just going to tighten them up for a moment. Tight, tight, just a little bit tighter. That's it. Just for a couple more seconds. Then you're going to let them go nice and slowly and gently and relaxed. So just treat it like tightening up an old elastic band, because you wouldn't want to let go of one suddenly, because it might hurt you. So That's it. Just here we go again, just under my direction, just the unconscious mind now scanning your body and looking for any other muscles or locked up muscles that shouldn't be. And when you find them, it's really just going to be so easy because you can just tighten them up again. Just tighter, tight, tight. That's it. Just a couple more seconds. And then you're going to let them go really nice and gently and relaxed. Beautiful. Now, one last time. Any muscles that are still tensed up or locked up, that subconscious or unconscious mind's just going to scan that body and find them. And when it finds them, it's just going to tighten them up now. Tighter, tighter, tight. Just for a couple of seconds, and then it's just going to let them go nice and slowly and gently and relaxed. Beautiful. And so now I want your unconscious mind to update your muscle memory for all of those muscles to full range of movement that you had before you even had any symptoms. Beautiful. And I want that unconscious to really update your own muscle memory for all the muscles. They've got full range of movement now, like before you even had a problem. And now I want your unconscious mind just to scan your body and really make sure it's bringing you back into perfect balance and alignment as soon as it's safe and effective to do that. And then we're just going to finish off that process by draining away every last bit of that old pain and inflammation and tension from your body that no longer serves you. And this is going to drop down through you, just like water running down through the pebbles. It's just going to be taken away by gravity, just falling onto the floor and leaving a bit of a puddle of pain and inflammation and tension. So that it can just step right away from it and leave it behind for good. That's it. Now, here we go, just scanning with the unconscious mind now. Because there's nothing you need to do consciously, but just scanning with the unconscious mind now, and nothing that you need to do consciously, but finding every last drop, every last bit of pain, inflammation, and tension, and then give it permission to let it all go. That's it. And so we're going to do one more technique. And as you continue relaxing now, just bring yourself back to focusing in on your breathing. And I want you to imagine breathing in calmness and breathing out any tension again. And as you continue to breathe like this, you can just focus on your body. Now, if you notice any remaining tension anywhere, just let it go as you exhale, and in your mind, softly and slowly repeat the word relax 4 times. And as you repeat the word, you can let yourself relax even more, because I'm really just teaching you a self-hypnosis technique that you'll be able to use later on. So as you repeat the word relax 4 times, let any muscles relax as you do that. And then you might even become more aware of the ideas and images that just drift into the mind automatically, and allow yourself just to drift down deeper and deeper into that feeling. And allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper, and imagine that this is all happening by itself as you just listen to the sound of my voice. And then I want you to allow yourself to have the experience of sort of drifting out of your body, like that out-of-body experience, up and out of your body, and then drifting away from your body. And just imagine drifting, lifting right up, drifting up and up above that body, and then up hundreds of meters above the body. And if you're in a house, you can see through the house. If you're inside, you can see through, and just see that you way down there behind, down below, leaving all the physical ties behind and drifting way, way up Notice how it feels to be up there. As you just look around and notice the variety of things that compete for your own attention. That's it. And now I want you to symbolize an archery target. You know, the ones with the rings of color, the red. And in your mind's eye, just look down, way down there below. And you're just going to see that target like an archery target. See the target really clearly in your own mind. See the colored bands. See the bullseye. Now, in that bullseye is all the pain that you were experiencing. And now, it may not just be physical pain. It might be emotional pain or mental pain. But what I want you to do now is just get ready to be fired through the center of the target. Yes, you heard me. You're going to be like an arrow going right through the center of the target. So in a moment, you're going to hear me say the word swoosh. And you're going to be shot like an arrow straight through that bullseye. And when you hear that sound swoosh, you're going to be shot like an arrow straight through the bullseye until you go right through the bullseye into a place of no pain. As you approach through the bullseye, you might experience a little bit of that pain intensifying for a split second just before you burst through it into a place of complete bliss, where you're just completely free of it. I want you to be brave about this because this is the last time you're going to have this affect you the way it has in the past, the last time. So when you hear the sound, you're going to be shot like an arrow straight through that target. So getting ready now, right through the other side on swoosh. And as you now pass through it and out through the other side into that place of no pain, calm, open awareness, just drifting in a place completely free of any unnecessary pain. Drifting simply as a mind, free of all the earthly ties, free of all the distractions, as you just drift there now in that wonderful feeling of open awareness, completely free of any unconscious pain or discomfort. That's it. And then I want you just to drift to the other side of the room that you're in or the place that you're in, whether you're sitting or lying. Maybe you're outside and you've got somewhere to the other side of the area you're in. So you can see yourself from that great calm distance. See yourself over there, sitting in the chair or lying down or wherever you might be in that place of comfort. See yourself way over there, sitting or lying. And noticing now that every ounce of agitation, every ounce of unnecessary pain, mental, physical, emotional, has actually gone right from that body. And those thoughts have now left your mind. That's it. And you can't experience them any longer. You can't feel any pain. You're completely separate from your body. And as you just drift there completely free, in a while, you're going to just drift right back over to that body. But only as quickly as your body and mind can make all these changes and adjustments that are going to allow you that freedom. The freedom to experience that condition of freedom from any unnecessary pain anytime that you wish or you need to. And only then will you drift back over to your body and drop down into your body again, free of agitation, free of discomfort, free of distractions. So just taking your time now, as you're just aware of the images and the sounds, as you just drift over and back into your body, unable to experience those old feelings. So just go ahead now and take your time. And when you're fully integrated, you can just open those eyes and get on with your day, just taking that comfort with you. That's it. And how are you all feeling? So you may need to just unmute. Excellent.
Yep, feeling good.
Excellent. And so we've got about 15 minutes left. We've been going for a while. Alicia, how are you feeling?
Just really calm and relaxed.
Excellent. Perfect. Julie, how are you feeling?
It was a bit weird for me because I couldn't lay down for long periods of time, as you know. Can't sit for long periods of time. So I had to get up a few times, come back down again, and just change my
Fair
position.
enough. Fair enough.
But it really, at the end of it, and then my phone went flat, of course.
Yes, when
Then
yeah.
I came back. But it's funny because my process of the pain it's starting to come back from what it used to be. If you understand, it's like I got pain in my neck, really bad pain, usually this time of day. But
Yep.
and before that, I used to have pins and needles down my left arm, right? So
Yep.
the left arm doesn't have the pins and needles anymore, but the neck is really painful. But now the neck's not that painful, and it's come back to the pins and needles.
Excellent. So that's perfect. So we're noticing changes, and we've just had one session. So I want you to realize that a lot of our perceptions in our mind. And so does anybody have any questions at all? And I hope you really enjoyed our session here today. Any questions, guys? No?
No.
Excellent.
It's good. I'm still digesting it. I'm still sort of
so don't analyze too much, because that's your conscious mind, and it'll put you right back on the focus of what you don't want. I want you to focus on the areas in your body that feel good. That's the best thing that you can do to really just start to shift those perceptions in the way that you're thinking. And of course, I hope you've all really enjoyed our session here today. Next week, we're working on anxiety. And as I mentioned, a lot of our physical pain comes about by stresses in our emotional life. And so we're just going to chip away at all those things so we can start to make some real inroads that are going to make some positive changes for your future. And if anybody wants to work with me one-on-one, feel free just to jump in. We've got little packs that can give you discount, but I'm happy to do that anyway, just so we can make sure we're alleviating that pain. But otherwise, just keep showing up for our little group sessions. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do this. This was just something that popped into my head, and I'm one that is if something constantly comes to me, I just know that it's something I need to do. With Reiki Australia, I just had this dream for 3 days that I was going to start interviewing these Reiki masters. And so the next day, on the third day, I just went, well, I'm in the position of chair. I might as well use this position and help people to get a different perspective on Reiki. And so in our Facebook groups, I sort of posted that I was going to do that. And before I even posted it, I just contacted people through Facebook. And then I had Frank Ajavapeta, who lives in Greece, and he's a German man. He said, yep. I got on to Johannes Randall, who's the current Grandmaster and lineage bearer for Asui Shiki Reiki Ryoho, and he's going to be on the 20th of this month. I've spoken to Franz Stein, and he is in Linz in Austria. I've already done his interview. I've had Patrick Ziegler, who is the founder of Seishem Sakhem, All Love, the Egyptian healing system. And it's just been really amazing. So when I started thinking, you know what, maybe it's time, I'm going to do some group sessions and just, help a few more people from a distance. And here we are. We've had our first one over the line. And as I said, there are other people that have registered that are going to be watching this, the replay. So anybody have any comments?
Thank you very much, Carol. All right, for being that beautiful person you are.
Thank you so much, Julie. And Kim, do you think there's anything there that you can use for your husband?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just got to convince him to sit in front of the computer for a little bit. That's all. Excellent. But thank you so much for sharing, and appreciate it so much.
Excellent. And so, Kimmy, what I'm going to also do, because you've just said your husband, you've got to make him sit in front of the computer. So you'll be able to, once I do just get off here, I'm going to upload this to YouTube. And then you'll be able to just do it on YouTube. So that means you can do it from your phone as well. And I'm also, I think when it records it to my computer, it also does an audio file. So I might even break up some of these sections into, if I can do it, I'm not a genius with this stuff yet. I'm still working it all out. If I can break up the audio, I can break it up possibly into the little sections so that he won't be overwhelmed, or so that anybody won't be overwhelmed. And then you guys can just use that. And what I'll do is I'll probably put a folder on my OneDrive, online thing, so that then you guys can jump in and download stuff to your own phones, and then you can use it in the future. So that's the plan. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Alicia, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good.
Excellent. So I know your mum enrolled as well, but she did say she had a meeting on at 9:30 and she didn't know if she was going to get here.
Yeah.
But at least she can watch this. And she was also doing that for your dad. So
Yes.
hopefully this is going to help as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us here. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And if any of you turn up, and if you don't, you can register and get the recording, whatever works best for you. And if there's any other things that you guys would like us to work on, feel free to drop me a message somewhere. I might even do a little, we've already got the group. I'll put stuff in the group, or for the people that have registered, we might just do a messenger group where I can put things in for you. And then you can have the Heal Your Body book as well. And I will, I will do that scale of consciousness. I'll just do one page as a PDF so that you'll have that to look at as well. And any other resources, I think that might be helpful. I might even edit that little pain book and put them in there so that you'll have them all linked together. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's a bit miserable here in Dubbo today, but we find we have miserable weather, but it's always followed by the sun shining out.
It's beautiful and sunny up here.
Where are you at, Julie?
Sunshine Coast.
That's why it's called the Sunshine Coast, I guess.
Absolutely beautiful. It's just the weather, like it'll rain at night, but then the sun comes up the next day.
Excellent. Kim, where are you? Are you in Dubbo?
No, Armidale.
Armidale. Awesome. My husband comes from Dorrigo. Yeah, I bet it's
cold.
Cool. Yeah, my husband comes from Dorrigo, and we would always go up that way every holidays because his mum and dad had a farm at Dorrigo, and then they moved down to Valla Beach, and
nice.
And they retired there. So we would go up every holidays till they passed, but we'd always go through Armidale. And so even though it's cold, it's still beautiful. Yeah, excellent.
It is, especially autumn with the changes in the leaves and things.
Oh, definitely. And Alicia's here in Dubbo, and she's become one of my regulars, but she's also become a very good friend. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful day. So I'm going to end our session now and turn off the recording.